Hi everybody, it's Deb again, and we are doing this project on learning how to use the hem stitch needle or the wingtip, whichever you want to call it. Both are correct. There are a few things in setting up your machine that you need to know. First of all, you need to make sure you have the right plate on. If you have a plate on that just has these little holes, like for straight sewing, that's not going to work. And when you get over here to select your hem stitch and your heirloom stitches, it won't be there because these won't show up if you have the wrong faceplate in. So what you do need, so make sure that you get the right faceplate. Get a few of these things out of my way here. I have all kinds here. There's all different configurations. The ones with the little holes, you don't want that. You don't want the double, you don't want the triple. What you do want is the one that is for the zigzag stitches. So, making sure that you have that on, and then the right foot. You want the F foot. It doesn't matter if it's the closed-toed or the open-toed F foot. You do need to switch your bobbin case. You don't want to use the yellow. Do not use the yellow. The one that I have in here is the one that is plain. Some people call it a red dot, but actually it doesn't have a dot. So then you need to make sure that you're using a hem stitch needle or a wing needle. Either one, doesn't matter. Okay, all that being said, you want to have your material prepared. Want it really starched, nice. I have one here where I've done a variety of stitch outs. Now, it's totally up to you if you want your bobbin thread to match your top thread. So that's just a personal choice. I always match it because I just think it looks much better. One thing to note that when you're doing the stitches, if it pulls together, which none of mine did, let's see, maybe this one did just a hair, but not really too bad. If it pulls together, if there's a lump in underneath, you don't want that. That means that your fabric thickness is not thick enough for your stitch width. That's what causes that. So you can see these are really pretty stitches. These are all a variety that I went through and picked out. Now I'm going to show you how to pick your heirloom stitches. So the way you get there on the 15,000, if I started out at home, then I want to pick my decorative stitches, and then you're going to get this screen. Now, like I said, if you have the wrong faceplate in, these will not show up. So you want to make sure. The next thing is you want to go to heirloom, and then the difference here in your stitches is, see how some are darker, some are lighter? You want the darker ones because this is all about the hole, not the stitch. So the darker means that it goes in the hole more times. So that's the difference there. Now you can save your stitch width, and you can go all the way up to 9 and anywhere in between. And you can save these on your 15,000 by clicking on a little arrow. And if you want to save it into a folder, it's real easy. In folder. Okay, so you can pick which folder you want it in. Okay, so now if I want to get rid of that, I just go back to my folders, see that it's there. And if I wanted to discard it, then I go back and I put it in the trash. Now, okay, so now if I go to my folder, oops, wrong button. Okay, okay, so now if I'm back at my folder, okay, yeah, I was there, okay, and I pick that, and I can name it. You can name it anything you want. Okay, so that's in and out. So we're back. Okay, so now if I wanted to throw this away, I just simply click on the trash, select where I want to throw it away. Now if I go back to my folder, it is not there. Okay, so I want to put it in my folder. Select which folder. There it is. Okay, and you can save 2 for each design. Okay, so we'll go back to folder. Back. Okay, here we are back in our stitches. And we can see where we are. So I want to close this window. You just use a little arrow. And we're back to our stitches. It does reiterate that you have in the right foot. The A foot would work, but I think that the F foot is what the hem stitch, heirloom stitches actually. Some different ones. Let's see if the foot changes. They're saying the A, yeah. See, the foot does change. So if you're over here in this stitch, it says an A, and if you're over here in this stitch, it says an F. So it just depends on where you're at. Now I went through and I tried all these different ones, and they all work, so that's not an issue. Now one thing that I forgot to tell you is that over here when you're threading this needle and it's really wide, you can see it's got these little wings on the sides. That's why it's called a wingtip needle. But you don't want to try to use your automatic threader if you're on the 12,000 or whatever you're on. Now, I think most everybody from the, I think it's the 400 and up should have the heirloom stitches. If you don't have the heirloom stitches, you could use a blanket stitch to participate in this. So you could go, let's see, over here, let's see, is it this one? Yeah. And you could use a blanket stitch. So most machines have at least a blanket stitch, and what I do is I just increase the size of it. And you can do edging. Let's see if we go back. And I go to sewing. Okay. Over here, when you're in sewing, there's also some stitches over here, the applique. This is where you find your blanket stitches, different zigzag stitches, and you can use these as well. So that's just some things you can do, and even most basic machines have a blanket stitch. So, and again, you would just adjust the size to get a wider stitch out. Hey, please excuse my little doggies trying to get in here. But anyway, it looks like it's gonna snow here. It's really dark clouds. And so we just had a nice dinner, put on a pork roast, and we're going to enjoy that with some cornbread tonight. I hope you are enjoying this day. And stay tuned because more classes are coming up. I'm meeting my 10-minute magic number here. So just go ahead and get your stuff prepared. And then the next thing I'm going to be looking for from you are some stitch outs so I can see how you're doing. And then we will move on to our project, and I have that pressed and ready. I will show that and start with the next video. Have a great day. Thanks for liking Janome Thread Artistry.